My girlfriend, 22F, is mad that I expressed my feelings, 23M, after she asked if I was okay. My girlfriend, 22F, had a rough day today. She found out that a job she got lacked certain benefits and that she ultimately wouldn't be taking it. The job included managing a dance studio. I had made a joke that someone we mutually know should take lessons there since her dance skills were kind of rough, to which my girlfriend said that she would have sex with the girl I mentioned because she found her attractive. My girlfriend is bi. I didn't say anything at the time, but the girl that she said that about had caused me some trauma a few months back as she sexually assaulted me, while I didn't have the courage to stand up for myself to make it stop. This brought back a lot of unwanted feelings and made me feel unwanted as a result. In addition, about a month back my girlfriend said she could have fucked my friend if she wanted, as a point to say she chose me instead. Both of these comments bothered me for different reasons, and tonight it got to me badly. While she was upset about the job not panning out, she asked if I was okay because I seemed off. I wasn't going to lie and say that I was okay, so I told her that I was feeling bothered by some stuff but that we should talk about it another time since she's had a long day and I'll be okay. Well, she freaked out on me and told me I needed to tell her that instant because she was anxious. I insisted I tell her another time because I knew she was going to be mad about me expressing my feelings in the moment, but I caved after pressure. I told her how her comments about how she would have sex with two mutual people we know bothered me, and she proceeded to attack me. She told me I was insecure and that she was bummed out already, so adding more to her plate ruined her night. I told her that I felt like my feelings were invalidated as a result, and while I wasn't asking for her to solve everything for me, I just wanted acknowledgement. She got super angry and started ignoring me. After some back and forth, she told me she was at a breaking point with us because apparently I always make everything about myself and that sometimes she needs things to be about her and she needs the attention. She told my timing is always off with my feelings. I got agitated. I'm always there for her. I listened to her and helped her last week for 2 days straight when her ex was harassing her. But as soon as I say anything, it's a problem. Am I in the wrong? Is my timing off? Am I being insecure? She's ghosted me and I don't know if I'll hear from her again. She did you a favor ghosting you. Time to move on. Time to find a new girlfriend. Sorry to say. Sounds like you have shit taste in women and you just let them walk all over yourself, buddy. Time to be single and work on some of those underlying issues that are causing you to feel so insecure. She sucks. Find someone better. You can express your feelings with someone who isn't immature. She sounds fucked up. Just be glad it's over. I, 46M, am struggling with wife's, 36F, decreasing libido. Please advise. Too long did not read. My wife has been showing less and less enthusiasm for physical intimacy. I reached the breaking point recently when I asked her if she wanted to have sex. She half-heartedly grunted agreement, rolled over, pointed her butt at me and refused to take off her bra. I told her I'd rather not have sex at all if that's how we're going to do it, and now she's furious. Am I being a spoiled baby, asshole, or am I being reasonable to refuse this kind of underwhelming approach to sex? Background. My wife and I have been together for 11 years. I am 10 years older. We met at work when I was 36 and she was 26. We no longer work together. We have 2 daughters aged 4 and 2. We both work and share parenting duties. For the first 7 years of our relationship, our sex life was fantastic. We did it a lot and we were very creative, often making up little role-play stories. We also spent a lot of time in the nude back then, sleeping, eating breakfast, watching Netflix, etc. My wife used to be kind of an exhibitionist and was not shy about being naked in front of houseguests and at beaches and campgrounds. I always found this to be a massive turn-on, and she knows it and used to encourage me. Present day. Kids take a toll on the sex life. After the birth of our first, it picked up again quickly. After the birth of our second child, it has not. Since then my wife has approached sex as something she has to do to maintain my good mood. Sometimes she'll say, "Okay. I can feel how bad you need it. Let's have sex." But it's always very robotic. She undresses, we do it, she gets dressed again and goes back to talking about work, or the kids or whatever. She has also become a never nude basically, even though she has maintained her figure well. When I compliment her breasts she'll say, "These are not sexy. These are food for our daughters." And then she'll quickly put a bra on. Great. Just what I always wanted. So, yeah, this finally got to be too much for me, and I told her I miss our old sex life and I don't like her new attitude towards sex and nudity. She has basically said that this is the best she can do and I need to accept it or find someone else. Am I being an asshole here? I just feel like I've lost a part of our relationship that was very important to me. But I don't want to lose my wife or my family over this either. Obviously. Am I expecting too much? Do you know what turns her on? Because I guarantee you it's not being asked. Do you want to have sex? What she heard was, I want to have sex, and you not caring what state of mind she was in. I mean, sounds like you just asked her for sex and expected high enthusiasm for just asking. How is that any different from her actions? You want enthusiasm and tits out. Don't just ask for sex. Put the work in, or if she is genuinely not up for it, love her anyway and try again later. It kind of doesn't sit well with me that you want her to be naked around the house like before but you have kids. I'd never want to be nude around my kids like that. Also, sexualizing her breasts in an innocent moment that wasn't meant to be sexual makes girls feel weird and like you only value us for our body parts. As a woman and a mother, I would like to share you something from my life. I have 4 kids and when they were little, the last thing on my mind was sex. It is exhausting to be with them all the time since they are very demanding. The breasts part one nursed mine for a long time and the idea of my husband putting his mouth on them was alien to me. I mean, my kids received milk from there. Well, they slowly started growing up and I started reading again. I was always a reader but kinda stopped when my oldest arrived, and I discovered romance books that sparked other desires inside me. So the once DB is long gone. What I can tell you is to have patience. Your wife must be exhausted. Find other ways to connect with her. Cuddle her more. Since then my wife has approached sex as something she has to do to maintain my good mood. Sometimes she'll say, okay, I can feel how bad you need it. Let's have sex. But it's always very robotic. She undresses, we do it, she gets dressed again and goes back to talking about work, or the kids or whatever. And you're okay with this? Your wife makes it clear that she's only having sex to get you off her back, not because she feels any desire to, and you just take her up on it? I'd feel like a fleshlight if I was her, to be honest. How can I, M33, comfort my wife, F27, in her depression after she fell for a scam and spent $25,000? Too long did not read. My wife spent $25,000 on a scam. She is now depressed about it being a scam. How can I comfort her but still condemn her actions? M33, my wife, F27, of 8 years fell victim to a scam, in which she sent roughly $25,000 to a scammer, who promised to transfer $10 million to her so that she could help people in Africa. So it was well intended but did not seek my counsel initially. After she sent $6,000 she then approached me and I pointed out the red flags in the story. She prayed about it and felt that God told her it was the right thing to do. This became a point of contention in our marriage for the past 3 months. She opened and maxed out 2 credit cards to keep it from me. She never lied to me about it when I asked but certainly avoided telling me the whole truth. This bled into our normal lives as well. She used to call and text me about her days and things she has questions about. She's withdrawn with me except for the day-to-day items needed to keep the family running. I feel similar to having been cheated on, just more of a financial affair. I obviously have trust issues when it comes to money with her. I have opened separate accounts and taken her name off of my credit cards. There isn't anything left of our savings, including our emergency savings. I have cut my spending back tremendously. I used to eat out twice a week and bring food from home the other 3 days. I now only bring food from home. I haven't bought a new video game in the last 3 months. This has impacted my life and limited what I can do. I understand that she is who I married and have no interest in divorce. I accept this hardship that she brought upon us. I just want to move beyond this and grow back together. This brings me to the point that I am writing for advice about. She told the scammer she isn't sending any more money. They are still in communication but the scam is starting to fall apart. My wife is becoming more and more depressed as it does. She says this gave her a lot of purpose in her life. I want to comfort her and do whatever I can to bring her out of her depression. I know that time will be my best friend but I know that I can do things to help. But I am still angry at her for spending our entire savings and racking up credit card debt. How can I comfort her without condoning her actions? Did she send the $$ directly from the credit cards? If so, can't you dispute the charge and do a back charge on it, especially if it was done fraudulently? If she is still in contact with the scammer, have you contacted the authorities? Both of you should seek therapy. Her depression likely was there before this scam, and you need to find out the source of her depression, if you want to improve your marriage. Wait, she's still communicating with the scammer? Is she insane, or are you? One of you has to be in order to let this situation continue. Look, the behavior has to stop before forgiveness and comforting can stop. You've just avoided the conflict by restricting her access to what little money you have left, but that's not good enough. You need to actually get through to her and talk this out, or it will happen again. When I read this post, it sounded to me like it was a romantic thing, rather than just sending money to help people in Africa. Can you be sure she also didn't lie about that, or have you seen proof that's how she got scammed? Why is she still in con at the asshole CT with this person? She prayed about it and God told her it was the right thing to do. Yeah, that was the first sign you needed to get out of there. 31F. Can't afford dates, so I'm breaking up with my boyfriend, 34M. Do I tell him the truth? Why? Would telling him the truth make him vulnerable in the future to women who want to take advantage and make him pay for everything and even require gifts and such? Context for those who want more info on this specific case, but the question simply stays the same. We have been dating for 2 months. I like him and would give more time to see where it goes, but I haven't dated since years and I was not expecting how expensive it would be. I live on the countryside and my monthly paycheck is very small. Enough out here, but the prices in that city are insanely high. Like one meal at an average place is about 5% of my monthly wage, cheapest place not much lower. 2 dates a week puts me around 40% of my monthly paycheck gone on dates, which is simply not sustainable. I also need to drive almost 2 hours per date and gas isn't cheap, but that would be fine, still, rather than train and then lose even more time to get to places. However, I need to eat if I do that trip, so I cannot do dates without food. I will not, however, ask him to pay for my food and drink. I do not want to feel like I owe him something and also just no. There are so many ways why that is just no. Sure, it would feel nice if he bought me a drink after I toasted in the car or grabbed the check sometimes, NGL, as a gesture, and he earns well, but only if he offered and felt like treating sometimes. Sometimes. But men shouldn't be required to pay for women. Feels like buying affection, attention, and I do not want to push him into that just because I happen to be a poor one. Not with me, and not for accidentally making him feel worried in the future that he needs to pay up, when every employed woman in the city earns more than I do and can afford to date in the city. He was taken advantage of enough in the past, as I understand, so I am very wary of this. Also, if I told him the reason, maybe he would feel bad and feel pressure to have to pay or be stuck on a dirty bench with a sandwich or something that went bad in the burning friggin' 90+ degrees, or maybe think that it is my manipulation to freeload, etc. Or think that he really needs to pay to keep women in future. IDK, how to explain. But doesn't he deserve to know the real reason? Such a dilemma. When I met the man who would become my husband, he was a recently arrived immigrant living in a homeless shelter. Our dates consisted of hanging out at the public library, going for walks in the park, getting a cup of coffee together, etc. We spend our time talking and getting to know each other. Spend almost no money at all. Honest, just leave him. He's better off with someone who can communicate their concerns and needs better. If you can't have open and honest communication, then the relationship isn't going to go anywhere. Just leave. Why are you always driving to him? I get that there sometimes might be more to do in the city, but if it's just meals, then he can also drive to you. There's restaurants everywhere. Is he too broke to pay? Wow, there's really people out here paying for their own dates every time. That's wild. And knowing that you're coming 2 hours to see him and he hasn't offered to fill up your gas tank is even wilder.